This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. In the headlines, police rescue kidnapped victim in Rivers State. WAEC blacklist 13 schools in Kogi State. Senate removes CCT chairman Danladi Umar. FAAC shares 1.4 trillion to federal government, state and local governments. Africa takes over G20 leadership from Brazil. Chidima Adeshina quits Miss Universe pageantry. Ademola Lukman nominated for Best Forward Award. Warm welcome back. Now to the details of our stories. River State Police Command has rescued a kidnapped victim, one Mr. Madu Abuchi Julius, from his abductors at Oyigbo local government area of the state after a gun battle between the abductors and the police. According to the statement by the spokesperson of the command, SP Grace Iringekoko, operatives of the command received a distress call from the command's control room indicating that a gang of armed men numbering about 4 operating in a black color Toyota Corolla shot sporadically and kidnapped one Madu Abuchi Julius, a male, at Sabbath filling station in Oyigbo. Iringekoko stated that operatives were swiftly mobilized to the scene and the hoodlums on sighting of the police drove off but were given a hot chase by the operatives and intercepted along Egbu Street, Oyigbo, and a gun duel ensued between the operatives and the hoodlums. The statement further stated that the hoodlums who could not withstand the police superior firepower eventually abandoned the victim and their operational vehicle, which registered number Rivers PHC 938AH, and escaped. The victim was rescued unhurt and the vehicle recovered. SP Iringekoko added that investigation is ongoing while concerted efforts are intensified to apprehend fleeing members of the gang and recover their operational weapons. In a related development, on the 18th of November 2014 at about 22:48 hours, operatives of the command acted on credible piece of intelligence, coordinated a covert operation at St. Laurentia Street, Oyigbo, arrested one Gabriel Morris, age 25, of Mercy Ground, Komkom, Oyigbo, local government area of River State. During interrogation, the suspect confessed being a member of a syndicate that has been terrorizing Oyigbo and its environs in recent times. Items recovered from the suspect include one locally made pistol, quantity of weeds suspected to be Indian hemp. Investigation is still ongoing while concerted efforts are intensified to apprehend other fleeing members of the syndicate. Moving on, socio-political analyst Okpako Dokubo has stated that commemorating this attack on the River State House of Assembly complex on October 29 may not be necessary, considering the numerous significant events in the state that deserve recognition. Dokubo advised that relevant issues affecting residents in the state to be discussed in the state. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, believes that dwelling on this incident could hinder progress, but urged the people to focus on finding a resolution and achieving stability.
There is absolutely no need for that. If you were to commemorate a lot of things, indeed, the River State House of Assembly, so many things have happened in River State that you want to commemorate, and if you continue to go in that direction, you'll probably dwell so much in the back. Okay, but not with the intent of giving them life beyond what they should be.
The analyst further emphasized on the importance of appreciating the positions we hold and prioritizing discussions around critical issues rather than getting sidetracked by less significant matters.
Right. I think that we must come to appreciate the position that we occupy in life and not make mess of it. And when you say, remember, we're talking about the River State House of Assembly. We're not talking of Martin Amehule's House of Assembly. Let's be careful when we do some of these things. They are just occupant tenants that will leave, that has time. There's a time bound that they will leave. And so when we make caricature of the positions in a temporary place that we hold and try to now make it, because you must remember that even the PDP is not the only political party in River State. It's by privilege that your party won that elections and you occupy that position temporarily. It has a date of expiry. And you now say that the explosion that happened, because there were strong allegations there, that you allege that the governor did that, and the police said they are investigating. The police has not made an official statement as to what happened. And you are now saying you already taking the 29th of October every year, when there are serious businesses, when there are serious things that the Rivers people that brings us together, that would forge a common goal for everyone, is left at the back. And then we're talking about an explosion that all of us wake up one day to hear that it happened in.
We recall that the Martins Amehulle-led River State House of Assembly plans to set aside October 29 as a commemoration day for what it calls unprovoked attacks on the legislature. Still in River State, the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt has scheduled January 21st, 2025 to rule on a suit filed by the Labour Party candidates and pro-Fubara lawmakers against the River State House of Assembly and 27 lawmakers led by Martins Amehulle. The pro-Fubara lawmakers are Victor Okojombo, Sokari Goodboy, and Adolphus Timothy. The plaintiffs are challenging the alleged defection of 27 lawmakers from the PDP to the All Progressives Congress, seeking the court's interpretation of their actions under the law. They argued that the defection of the lawmakers defecting should vacate their seats to enable the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to conduct by-elections. At the resumed hearing on Wednesday, parties confirmed the exchange of pleadings and evidence before representing their arguments on preliminary legal points. Presiding Judge Emmanuel Obele subsequently adjourned for a ruling on these preliminary issues. Counsel for the Labour Party, Clifford Chukwu, told journalists that his position remains that the lawmakers' seats should be declared vacant following their defection. On the other hand, Emeka Onyeka, counsel to the 27 lawmakers, explained that the court had decided to address preliminary issues before delving into the substantive matter. Edo State Deputy Governor Dennis Idahosa has revealed that the former governor of the state, Adams Oshomole, opposed the nomination of his son, Cyril, as Commissioner for Health Designate. Recall that Governor Monday Okpebolo appointed Dr. Cyril Adams Oshomole as Commissioner for Health Designate last Tuesday, according to the statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Fred Etua. Speaking during an interview on Wednesday with newsmen, Idahosa described Cyril as a seasoned medical doctor who is qualified to serve in the cabinet, refuting allegations of nepotism and state capture. Idahosa noted that the former national chairman of the APC opposed his son's nomination. On his role as deputy governor, Idahosa said he discussed with the governor on cabinet matters, adding that his main statutory function as deputy governor is overseeing the Boundary Commission. 2 policemen are feared dead following an attack on their checkpoints by gunmen in Asaga, Ohafia local government area of Ebia State. The attack occurred just 2 days after gunmen killed a policeman attached to Honorable Ginger Onwusibe, the lawmaker representing Isi Alangwa, North Isi Alangwa, South Federal Constituency, during an incident in Umuahia on Sunday night. According to sources, the gunmen targeted the checkpoint, shooting one policeman whose identity is yet to be confirmed, Another officer involved in the attack is also feared dead. Efforts to reach the public relations officer of the police of Abia State Command ASP Maureen Chinaka for comments were unsuccessful at the time of the filing of this report. In Abuja, days after the Court of Appeal nullified his presidency, Musulu MC Oluomo Akinsanya assumed office as the national president of the National Union of Road Transport Workers. This marks the first time MC Oluomo has publicly announced assuming office since the appellate court's decision to reaffirm Ibukunle Barua as the legitimate NURTW president. MC Oluomo, who was elected unopposed during an election as the union's zonal secretariat in Osogbo, had his presidency nullified by a three-member appellate panel. The panel, comprising Justice Hama Akau Barka, Namdi Oku Dimba, and Assaum Ojulokbe Akambi, upheld the National Industrial Court's earlier ruling of March 11, which recognized Barua as the rightful president. The court also awarded 100,000 naira in cost against Oluomo in favor of the respondents. Following the ruling, human rights lawyer Femi Falana called on the federal government to ensure the immediate reinstatement of Mr. Barua. Falana urged the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi and the Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetukun to enforce Barua's leadership. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says it has secured 9,034 convictions in the last 3 years. The Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Buba Marwa, disclosed this in Lagos during the island's Club Business Luncheon. Marwa said that the agency also arrested 52,901 traffickers and 52 barons within the period under review, stressing that most of the culprits were high-profile personalities in the society. According to him, the high number of arrests and prosecutions was a significant achievement, showing the agency's commitment to tackling the scourge of drug trafficking in the country. In his welcome remarks, the chairman of the Island Club, Rotimi Olashode Martins, acknowledged Marwa's unwavering commitment to combating drug abuse. Martins said that the NDLEA's boss wealth of experience in tackling the scourge was commendable. According to him, drug abuse is a menace that infiltrated every layer of the society, threatening our youth, destabilizing families, and undermining the socio-economic fabric of our very nation. In a different story, Independent National Electoral Commission has presented certificates of return to Ondo State Governor-elect Lucky Aiyedatiwa and his deputy Adelami Olayide. The certificates were handed over in Abuja on Wednesday by the Supervisory National Commission of Ondo State, Professor Kunle Ajayi. This comes 4 days after INEC declared Aiyedatiwa the winner of the governorship election held on Saturday. Representatives representing the All Progressives Congress, Aiyedatiwa defeated Agbola Ajayi of the People's Democratic Party and 15 other candidates. He won across all 18 local government areas of the state, pulling 366,781 votes against Ajayi's 117,000. Governor Ademola Adeleke has approved 75,000 naira as the new minimum wage for civil servants in Osun State. Adeleke, in a statement by Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Kolakbo Alimi, noted the approval followed the receipt of the Public Service Negotiations Committee report. He said the state government's team was led by the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Kazim Akinleye, while that of the Labour team was led by the State NLC Chairman, Comrade Christopher Arapo Sopo. He urged all civil servants to up their service delivery by endlessly seeking innovative solutions to improve public service and ensuring transparency and accountability for the growth and development of the state. Still in Osun, the Governor Ademola Adeleke has revealed that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, has ordered the immediate arrest and prosecution of the head of the police anti-kidnapping squad in the state, Moses Lahore, and members of his team for attempted murder. This was confirmed by the Special Advisor to the Osun State Governor on Security, Samuel Ojo, in a statement by Walawale Rashid, the spokesperson to Governor Adeleke, after a closed-door meeting with the governor and the State Commissioner for Police, Mohammed Umar Abba. Recall that the crisis erupted after operatives of the Osun State Police Command Anti-Kidnapping Squad, led by Moses Lahore, allegedly shot Wakil Nuruddin Yanda Olowole, the chairman of the Osun State Transport Management System, on Monday night. The police alleged that he was shot after he reportedly tried to escape arrest after a pistol and ammunition were found in his car. Meanwhile, the state government, in a statement on Tuesday by the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Kolakbo Alimi, alleged that Olowole's shooting was in a case of suspected murder. Benue State Police Command has reiterated its commitment to clamping down on criminal activities across the state, following the recent arrest of suspected cultists, a gun runner, and armed robbers. Speaking to journalists regarding the upsurge of cult activities and other crimes in North Bank, Makurdi, the Commissioner for Police, Benue State Command, CP Steve H. Yabanet, has ordered all divisional police officers and tactical commanders to clamp down on cultism and other crimes within the areas of responsibility. According to a statement by the spokesperson of the Benue State Police Command, SP Catherine Anene, the renewed commitment of the command led to arrest of 26 suspected cultists and armed robbers within the Makurdi metropolis. She said the suspects include Awal Sani, aka Flasher, 44 years, Sabu Abdullahi, a 31-year-old, Idris Ibrahim, a 20-year-old, Shapira Emmanuel, 23-year-old, amongst others. Anene warned hoodlums disturbing public peace in the state to relocate for their own good or face the consequences of all their actions. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, on Wednesday announced the sack of the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council, Federal University of Health Sciences, Otukbo, Benue State, Ohieku Salami, due to actions unbecoming of his office and violations of established procedures. According to a statement by the Director of Press, Federal Ministry of Education, Folashade Boriowo, the decision followed a series of unprofessional actions by Salami, including the suspension of the Vice-Chancellor, without following the prescribed procedures. The statement noted that despite intervention by the Education Ministry and formal requests to rescind the unlawful suspension, Salami refused to comply, resulting to abusive and threatening behavior towards the ministry's directors, including the permanent secretary. In line with his decision, the minister has requested the appointment of a new pro-chancellor and chairman of the governing council for federal universities of health sciences, Otukbo, to restore proper governance and ensure the universities operate in accordance with the principles of law, due to process and accountability. Kogi State government has vowed to clamp down on property owners harboring Yahoo boys in the state. Kogi State Commissioner for Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Abinaka Taye, disclosed this in Lokoja during a press briefing ahead of a two-day symposium of stakeholders in housing and urban development in Kogi State. Taye noted that it was appalling that some property owners were sabotaging the efforts of the government at ridding the state of crimes and criminalities by accommodating individuals who have questionable sources of income. According to him, the government has come up with a new policy through a bill in the House of Assembly to checkmate the alleged exploitation and excesses of property owners in the state. This, he said, would help reduce the burden on residents who, over the years, has been yearning for a workable policy to regulate the housing sector. 13 schools, including 14 supervisors, have been blacklisted by the West African Examinations Council over alleged examination malpractices in Kogi State. Commissioner for Education Honorable Mwemi Jones disclosed this in Lokoja in a meeting with some principals and supervisors who were indicted by West African Examinations Council for alleged examination malpractices. According to the commissioner, any principal, teacher, and supervisor who aid and abet examination malpractices will henceforth be prosecuted in accordance with Kogi State's education law and other matters connected therewith 2020. Jones emphasized that examination malpractice is a criminal offense and it will be treated in accordance with the law. The commissioner further disclosed that a committee headed by the permanent secretary has been set up. Partners launched the Borno State Open Defecation Free Roadmap and flagged off campaign for open defecation free in the state. UNICEF country representative in Nigeria, Christian Munduate, who commended the Borno State government for its collaboration in the campaign against open defecation, noted that Biu and Shani had already received ODF status last year. He assured the government of UNICEF's support in ensuring that Borno State becomes open defecation free. Governor Babagana Zulum, represented by his deputy, emphasized the importance for sanitation in improving people's well-being and called for collective efforts to change the wash conditions of the people. He urged relevant government agencies to focus on achieving safe water and sanitation options for all households, as well as the implementation of sustainable wash access in schools and public places. Borno State Commissioner for Water Resources, Engineer Tijani Goni Alkali, stressed the importance of sanitation and clean water as fundamental human rights that should be guaranteed to all citizens. In a different story, Defense Headquarters has confirmed that Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists ambushed troops conducting stabilization operations in Gubo local government area in Borno State, leading to a heavy gunfight. In the aftermath of the attack, 5 soldiers were killed, 10 wounded, and 4 others were reportedly missing. However, over 30 terrorists were neutralized, with several others escaping with bullet wounds. Major General Edward Buba, Director of Defense Media Operations, disclosed the details in a statement, noting that the recovery of weapons and destruction of terrorist equipment. Sources further revealed that terrorists launched multiple assaults in an attempt to overrun a special military force stationed in Kareto, a community in Gubo local government area. The source further explained that the special forces had recently arrived in Kareto and were preparing to facilitate the return of displaced villagers by constructing trenches when the insurgents launched their assault. The Defense Headquarters continues to monitor the situation and is reinforcing efforts to combat terrorist threats in the region. Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Borno State has apprehended 27 suspects involved in various crimes, including scrap metal theft, land fraud, and vandalism. The state's commandant, Harun Abdul Razak, made this disclosure on Wednesday while parading the suspects in Maiduguri. Abdul Razak said they were arrested in different parts of the state capital. He said on November 15th, the Corps arrested 3 suspected metal thieves along Maiduguri, Damaturu Road, in a vehicle loaded with scrap metals. He also said personnel intercepted suspected cattle rustlers along the Njimilo area, Damaturu Road, and recovered 2 stolen cattle. The commander assured the public that all suspects would be charged to court and prosecuted upon the conclusion of investigations. He reiterated the Corps' unwavering commitment to protecting lives and property in the state and as a dedication to reducing crime and ensuring safety of residents across the state. Kaduna State Chief Magistrate Court on Wednesday ordered an unemployed man, Vincent Danladi, to sweep the court premises for 3 weeks for stealing 1 carton of floor tiles and other items worth 130,000 naira. The police had earlier charged Danladi, 30-year-old of Ungun Pama in Kaduna, with theft. Delivering the ruling, Magistrate Ibrahim Emmanuel stated that the court considered the fact that Danladi was a first-time offender. He ordered the convict to report to the court for 3 weeks to sweep the premises after he pleaded guilty to the offense, with no option of fine. Earlier, the prosecutor, Inspector Chidi Leo, told the court that the defendant and 2 others at large on November 9 stole a carton of 3x3 floor tiles from a house under renovation in Sabon Taspa, Tasha, Kaduna. Leo said the defendant and his accomplices also stole 1 bucket of paint and 1 carton of wall tiles, all valued at 130,000 naira. He added that the defendant was arrested and the items were recovered from him during the course of the investigation. The offense, he said, contravened the penal code. The State Police Command has arrested a notorious regional gun runner, a local manufacturer, and several suspected bandits during a series of coordinated operations. The State Police Commissioner, Mohammed Dalijan, made this known during a press briefing held in the command's headquarters in Gusau. Dalijan hailed the officers and the men of the State Police Command for their relentless efforts in tackling criminal activities across the state. He said a notorious regional gun runner was arrested while transporting a cache of arms and ammunition intended for delivery to bandit camps operating in the region. The command reiterated its commitment to ensuring peace and stability in the region, urging citizens to continue providing credible information to assist in combating crime. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We're back after this short break. Stay with us.
It's the Glow Festival of Joy, and it's raining exciting prizes. Oh, for 120 days, we take it to the max. Mind-blowing, loaded prizes. Take John winning a tear rubber Toyota Prado by recharging up to 100,000 naira. And Sister T winning a Cha-Cha Kia Picanto by recharging up to 50,000 naira.
From the sky coming to you,
Yes, the gifts are unloading joy all over Nigeria.
From Toyota Prados to Kia Picantos, Keke Napes, generators, sewing machines, and even grinding machines. Just dial *611#, choose your prizes, recharge the value for the month, and you too can win.
Whoa, you too can win, oh!
A warm welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Analysts have expressed concern over a request by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for National Assembly to approve fresh 1.767 trillion naira external borrowing plan in support of the 2024 budget. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Atlantic Blowout, a legal practitioner, Silva Bill Ikari, emphasized that any economy that is heavily dependent on debt is doomed to stagnate. He opined that borrowing money without investing in manufacturing or other productive sectors is a recipe for disaster.
Indeed, I tell you the truth. Borrowing being brought to the fore to run an economy is a sign of failure. However, in the circumstance, I will not say. We are not borrowing to invest in agriculture. We are not borrowing to boost manufacturing so that we say, when we borrow this money and invest, we are going to get something. It is more or less we are borrowing to settle debt. That's what it means. That is why I have a problem with it.
On his part, Chief Ogbonna Nwoke, former House of Representatives member, stated that while borrowing is necessary for economic growth, transparency and accountability are crucial to ensure that borrowed funds yield tangible results.
United States, China, these are frontline economies that are doing well. But if they tell you the amount of debt too that is associated with their greatness, you will shiver. Okay? So I want to say that, of course, unfortunately for this great country, regardless of all of the resources that we have, we've not been able to do a balanced budget. Our budgets have always been deficit-oriented, meaning that you don't have money enough to fund the budget. Therefore, you will need to inject some additional funds. So, well, one thing I've always asked myself is, why is it that we chew too much? Why is it that every government wants to do everything at the same time? If Tinubu comes on board and says, gentlemen, Nigerians, I will not do anything other than give you electricity, make sure you have electricity as a takeoff point in the next 4 years, and he commits himself to giving us electricity, it would be better than you want a little bit of electricity, a little bit of health, a little bit of agriculture. You're everywhere, but you're a master of none.
This comes as President Bola Tinubu has asked the National Assembly to approve fresh 1.76 trillion naira external borrowing plan in support of the 2024 budget. Nigerian Senate has removed the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, Danladi Umar, from office. The removal followed the two-thirds majority of senators required to validate the resolution of the legislative chamber. The Senate leader, Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele, had sponsored a motion seeking the invocation of the provision of Section 157 subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended for the removal of the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Bamidele adduced reasons for his removal, saying, Senate has been inundated with serious petitions and allegations of corruption and misconduct against the chairman, a situation that necessitated the 9th Senate, through the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions, to invite him to serious investigations hearing. The motion was also alleged Umar's absenteeism from office for more than 1 month without permission and without recusing his position. The lawmaker said those who were disturbing alongside issues were precipitated that Bola Tinubu, the president, to forward the name of Mr. Abdullahi Usman Bello as his replacement. After representation and debate by some senators, Senate President Godswill Obot Akpabio put the motion to vote. The 74 senators voted for the removal of Danladi Umar, while 10 kicked against it. It was ruled that the chairman would be removed, while Akpabio told the clerk to the Senate to communicate the resolution to the presidency in accordance with the law. In a different story, the Senate on Wednesday urged the military to collaborate with local communities to establish early warning systems to detect future incursions. The plea was contained in a resolution adopted by the Senate today, following an alarm raised by former Senate leader, Senator Yahaya Abdullahi, representing Kebbi North, over the infiltration of violent terrorist group known as Lakurawa in 2 parts of Sokoto and recently in Kebbi State on November 8, killing 20 soldiers in Mera village. During the debate, lawmakers urged the federal government to take decisive action to prevent further attacks and the group's entrenchments in the region. Senators warned that failure to act decisively could allow the Lakurawa group to expand into its operations spreading terror to other parts of northern Nigeria and potentially threatening national stability. The upper chamber also asked the federal government to deploy an assessment team to the affected areas to evaluate the damage and determine immediate relief needs for the affected families. It's called on the military to maintain their presence and vigilance in the affected communities to prevent the Lakurawa group from re-establishing themselves or expanding their operations. Nigerian Senate has mandated its Committee on Works to investigate the reasons behind the non-completion of repairs on the Odukbani-Itu Federal Highway in Cross River State, including a detailed assessment of how funds allocated over several budget cycles have been utilized. This follows a motion sponsored by Senator Sukwo Ekpeyong and co-sponsored by Senator Ekong Samson on pressing needs to address the challenges stalling the completion of the road. During the plenary, the Senate highlighted the highway's potential to create jobs, improve market access, and support micro, small, and medium enterprises to include infrastructure. The Senate also directed the committee to summon relevant agencies, including the Federal Ministry of Works and the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, and contractors handling the project to present comprehensive reports on the current status and challenges affecting the highway. Additionally, the lawmakers asked the federal government to prioritize the highway's immediate completion to alleviate the sufferings of residents and enhance connectivity to the region. It also asked the Ministry of Works to review its concrete road pavement policy, particularly for old roads where the asphalt was already in use.